something was not adding up because I remember in grade 9, we were talking about kidney stones, and then my symptoms were not really going along. I was like, okay. Then I asked at home, they're like, no. And obviously as a black child, you do as you're told, right? I was like, no. And then usually I go every 6 months to check everything. And then I asked the person, one of my parents, that, okay, something's not adding up. I would appreciate it if you tell me. And then I think in that moment, one of my parents was so broken that they're telling me something so hurtful, because in their eyes, I did nothing wrong. Hi, my name is Andiswa Cindi. I'm 19 years of age and I was born with HIV. I currently came out at the 1st of January that I was born with HIV, and I want to express it more and kill the stigma of HIV. I get a lot of questions of why I did it and why I chose to hide it from the first place. Growing up, due to the fact that society has always put HIV in a box that we're not supposed to talk about it, obviously the old generation was more of a, you have HIV, but it's better if you keep quiet and stuff. So I was not aware I had it, but I knew something was off with the fact that I could not talk about my medicine, right? So when I came out, I was terrified that, you know, probably what they've been telling me, the stigma might come about, but South Africans really shown support. I got amazing messages and a lot of people telling me about their story, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm still continuing. Currently, I think I am one of the youngest people to talk about it, but there are some coming out wishing that they did, and I truly wish you could join me on this journey of mine of changing the stigma, right? So I discovered I was HIV positive last year. It's kind of very funny how in a few minutes you think you're okay and then the next you're just positive. But at the same time, nothing really changed about me, it's just the status that changed. To anything, I am not angry with the fact that I did not know. I'm just a lot more accepting that it is a social issue that has been going on for a lot of years, and the one thing that I wish to change about it is how people view it. In terms of, if I were to come to you and be like, I'm HIV positive, your first response shouldn't be, I'm so sorry, are you gonna die? It should be, how can I make you more comfortable? How could I make you want to drink your medication more? How could I make you feel more alive? That is one of the things that I truly thrive in anything I do. And from now, I'm just going with the flow, but I truly hope to inspire a lot of people that truly wish to change their narratives and anything about HIV. And I truly strive to have more conversation, including HIV in schools, because it should not stop about what you should do to not get HIV. There are people living with HIV. I was told that I had kidney stones, so that's why. So something was not adding up because I remember in grade 9, we were talking about kidney stones, and then my symptoms were not really going along. I was like, okay. Then I asked at home, they're like, no. And obviously as a black child, you do as you're told, right? I was like, no. And then usually I go every 6 months to check everything. And then I asked the person, one of my parents, that, okay, something's not adding up. I would appreciate it if you tell me. And then I think in that moment, one of my parents was so broken that they're telling me something so hurtful, because in their eyes, I did nothing wrong, right? I was just innocent when I had it. But when they told me, it was hurtful, but I was suspecting that I was, because when I researched my symptoms, it kept on showing that I was HIV. But what I wish I got a lot from that day was more of a, don't be sad, you're HIV, just accept it. I just got, you're HIV positive and you were born with it, but I've tried my whole life to give you medication. And it's not even my parents' fault. There's not a lot of emotional support towards HIV. But the weird part, a nurse that I went to take my blood actually supported me more in terms of was there when I needed her to be there. So she spoke to me in terms of what I can do to better everything. At school, when they were telling us more about symptoms about kidney stones, there was a lot of symptoms towards the abdominal pains. It was weird because I didn't get that. I was like, okay, perhaps I have other symptoms. So I tried researching more, and there was no symptoms. And then I was like, okay, let me just research more about my medication. And then the whole time it was showing HIV 1 type of medication, HIV 2 type of medication. I was like, how does that work? But I kept quiet as usually because I thought it might have been the internet, because you know how Google gives out the wrong facts. But then the main thing that I did not understand with kidney stone is that medication that they use is, they say it does not cause you to be tired, but like when I took my medication, I was really tired, like I would just sleep off the whole day. As someone with HIV, I think the most difficult thing comes to obviously dating. Even if I'm very young, it's more of a conversation that if I were to disclose my status, is the person aware of HIV? Is the person educated? Because you get people that are aware but they are like, it's not for them. Then you get people that are educated that really discriminate HIV. So living with HIV, it's more of a, you always teach people new things, and it's a beautiful thing, eh? But it becomes wrong when people, as soon as you teach people, they constantly go back to the fact that it's still a disease that can kill you. It's still a disease that can affect you. Sorry. I think one of the main struggles everyone has with HIV is really drinking medication. Because when you forget, you have this thing in your mind, the virus is gonna get more whatsoever, right? I remember growing up, it was more of a, if I didn't drink my medication, I wouldn't get shouted at, but I knew that I did something wrong. Because when I was 9, I could not swallow the pills, so it was like crushed. So the more it was crushed. And then when I started talking to my peers, 9 years old, like, are you drinking medication? Because I'm just drinking medication for whatever reason. They're like, no. And then immediately I got home, I took the pills and just threw them all in the drain for a month until my grandparents found out. That was not a story to talk about, but respectfully, I understood from that age why I had to drink medication. But one of the most things is really disclosing your status. It's scary. Even if as a person I accept HIV, but like you never know what a person's gonna think of, because there's not a lot of conversations, you know. But the first thing, which is really wrong, when they say you don't look HIV, you're like, how is a person supposed to look HIV positive, you know? That is one of the things that's very discriminating, because HIV does not have a look, right? But I think my generation in general, we are very aware, because I came out to one of my closest guy friends. He was so understanding in terms of, okay, I'm like, what do you mean? Okay, I kept this for 18 years, you're just accepting it. It's like, it's HIV, there's medication. That even it was like those simple words, it really opened up my mind in terms of, I can actually live with this thing. For me, dealing with the emotional process was hard because you don't really know who's HIV positive, or not a lot of people come out. So when I came out,
it is currently the 1st of January 2022. Today, I decide to finally come out and say I am HIV positive. I was born with HIV, and I am saying this to kill the stigma that people with HIV are horrible and neat and we deserve it. I'm currently going to be making a series explaining what I go through as a person with HIV, the discrimination I get, and how to teach other people about HIV. One thing we should all know is that anything you have, HIV, cancer, is just a virus. It does not determine a person's capability. I am worth more than what I have, but it is something I'm still accepting. I hope I get positive impact.
I started getting a lot of messages, some people saying I was also born with it. I was like, how? Because I did not think I was the only one, but I was the only person I knew of, because not a lot of people spoke about it. So the emotional part was just, even though I accept myself, there's always that, you know how people are. Some people are very negative, just that, what will they think or will they do? And I think one of the hardest things was that I was still in high school, you know, so I wanted to talk about it a lot because I'm just that person. I truly accept things. I wanted to talk about it, but it's more of a, if I talk about it, they tell back at home that I'm talking about it, and that becomes a fast. I'm just like, I'll talk about it. I made it this year my mission to truly talk about it because it's not mentally okay to cage something in. It's not okay to just always keep quiet. It's more of a, I had to talk about it in terms of if it went bad or good, it's out there, you know, not always having to apologize for being HIV. That's just the beautiful feeling that I currently experience it. But there are bad and this good. The good is that I am out there, you know. The bad is just that there's a lot of things to be said and done, and it doesn't even have to start with me. It's always gonna end some way, but my dream is to have more conversations about HIV. So when I found out I was HIV positive, I'm always a very private person, so my first thought was more of a, I'm not gonna tell my closest friends, my closest family. But when I arrived at home, everyone was more of a, oh, you know, okay? I mean, like, as much as they were so supportive, I actually needed a backbone. So my little brother, who's currently 12, he came in the room and he didn't say much. It was on some, I have your back. Those few words were just like, oh, I cried so much that day. Even after Klusto, telling my friends, after they cried and we cried, it was more of a, let's move on now, you know. We're here to cry, but we have to be real about the fact that you are HIV, and let's just go with it. And if you're facing troubles, talk, you know. I feel like then that's the main thing. I kind of see HIV as just having, it's weird, a flu, but like a flu that lasts longer in terms of if you take your medication, you say when you're sick, you say when you're feeling a bit not well, everything goes well. That's how I see it in terms of it really doesn't have to define me in terms of who I am. I'm not just that HIV girl. I'm Andiswa, I'm a girl who has it. So when I came out to social media, my parents have always known that I was into motivating. Before I did HIV, I was more in the body acceptance community. When I came out, they were a bit disappointed, not necessarily disappointed, they were just shocked that this child has liver, those type of things. But I think just letting someone do their own thing, and then if I perhaps needed their help, I'll come to them, you know, just more of a, if they kept on telling me to keep quiet, I was truly gonna scream louder. I think my parents are just more accepting with the fact that I'm growing into the woman I am. If I truly wanna talk about it, I should. If it comes out bad or good, it's the consequences that I have to face. So I currently came out on TikTok. The reason I chose TikTok was because it has a very creative-based platform, right? I've been on Instagram for the past 2 years and I did not get what I wanted, so I went to TikTok. And when I tell you, people are the most supportive I've ever had. I came out there because I knew that it might reach people, I might educate people more, because everyone's on TikTok nowadays. So having that platform to just educate and motivate and being supported in a way I never thought I would. I honestly saw myself just speaking to a few 50 viewers. Like, I was okay with that, and then the way everything grew, it's something I'm beyond grateful for. And even on the platform, there are some people commenting on things that I might have missed or might have said too much on. It's truly amazing. I'm also learning a lot about HIV that I did not know in my 10 years of being infected, I guess. The one thing that I'm truly grateful about is the community that I've just formed, or the community that's currently building, because even when I went live, everyone was engaging. It was truly beautiful. No one was even negative. I'm truly grateful for that. And I truly see a community. I choose to motivate and educate people because there's a lot of things that people are not aware of about HIV, because school or anything else just teaches us about preventing. It does not go even deeper in terms of what happens when you have it. I choose to educate in terms of if you ever find yourself in a situation where you happen to be HIV positive, or you find yourself in a situation, or you were born, or you might have been infected, what to do. Because there's not a lot of people who can truly understand what you're going through than someone who's going through it, you know. And posters, Facebook posts do not even hit close to home. I truly wanted to bring that emotional, that technical value to my audience. The main part of HIV, for people that truly want to come out, I feel like the main point is truly having to accept and forgive yourself. In terms of, no one plans to have HIV. So the main part of anyone who wants to come out, you have to go deep within the fact that you did nothing wrong and there was nothing you could have done to prevent it in those terms. And in terms of coming out, it's not really necessary. If you are in your situation where you choose to be private, yet you choose to be private, yet you accept HIV, that's still okay. It becomes wrong when you're living right there and you hate the fact that you're HIV. You based your value, you based everything of yourself, the fact that you're HIV. That's where it becomes wrong. I'm encouraging you, or I wish to encourage you more on, to be realistic in terms of what you have, what you're going through does not define you, one point. And if you choose to speak to me in any network, you can on TikTok and Instagram. I'm always answering messages. My name is Andiswa Cindi and I've been through the most.